Greetings freaks and folks, this is Vlad the Lad. The Worldwalker Expansion is right around the corner. It's hitting tomorrow and the patch notes will be live in a couple of minutes. But before we jump into these patch notes, which are yet to release in a couple of minutes, like I said, we will jump into the cards that I revealed almost an hour ago. And we start with the Petricite Pillar, which is a 2-mana landmark from Demacia, and it says all spells cost 2 more and countdown 2. So for this round and the next round, all spells will cost 2 more. Now we saw this Petricite Hound, I think was like the one, no, it's not the Hound. What was the one for, which was released back in the day, right? Which was a 2-mana follower, and they would increase all the costs by 1 permanently. And I think this is a way better card. You probably would run both together then, but you would almost never play this on turn 2 on curve, is my first impression. Because, like I said, it's only for this turn and the next, so maybe you would do this in conjunction with having a white board and you are afraid of a lot of answers that the enemy might have. So before you open attack, you play this and you limit the amount of plays that they have, right, for this and the next turn. And then you go crazy with your attack. But other than that, I don't know if this sees so much play. So you have a very limited value for paying 2 unit mana, which is a lot in Demacia. The next one is the Obedient Drakehound, which is a 2-mana 4/1, and as I read the keywords here, it has quick attack and immobile. And it says, when an ally attacks, I attack with it. So it's sort of a, let's say, Shark Chariot, where you would attack with all the ephemerals and you would respawn the chariot. But in this case, you have a unit on the board, and every time you attack then with normal units, non-ephemeral, then you would, or even other ephemerals, you would then attack with the Drakehound as well. I don't know how viable this will be in the end, because it's super fragile with 1 HP. It doesn't have the 5 attack to be a, follower for the Reputation archetype. And on top of that, Noxus doesn't have so much things to do multiple attacks, right? They have some rallies, but they are mostly bad. And when I saw this, I thought of maybe Blade Dance. Maybe that's the thing where you would combine this. But then again, you have Ionian Noxus, which is a really weird combination of regions. So I don't know in the end how viable this will be. We'll see. Then we have Paparo the Great, which is a 3-mana 2/2 Yordle. And when he's summoned, create a random Yordle in hand. And on attack, you grant other allied Yordles +1 attack. So yeah, this is everything that we love about Vandal City. Spreading out, creating more value, and buff your whole board to an extent, and then you, attack. And then you attack again, and then you win the game. Because Bandalcy never runs out of value, and this dude also helps you as he's creating one for you in the hand. I think they can't create themselves anymore, that's the good thing, but you can, for example, the Bandal City Mayor, right? It's another Yordle, he could create that, and he would then create something else. So there are ways to be toxic again, and yeah, I guess one more card for the toxic Bandal City card pool. But the most exciting of all of these is this one, the Gray Apothecary, if I pronounce that right, a 2-mana landmark, and this is a bomb of a value engine, as it says, when an ally with 5+ power dies, create a random follower with 5+ power in hand. So as long as this landmark sticks on your board, which most of the time happens, because it's a very low-cost landmark, people probably won't destroy that because it's so cheap, but most of the time they have to, so in order that you don't run out of value, because Noxus has so many units that have 5+ power. Think of the Glory Seeker, think of LeBlanc, think of even other regions where you have Yetis and Ash, you name it. Every unit that dies gives you another follower in hand, so you never ever run out of steam, and you can put this even on curve. It's not much of a play. You have a 2-mana play, and there you go. That's your value bomb. So yeah, you definitely don't want to have multiple of these on the board or in hand. You don't only want to draw one most of the time, because it can also break your hand, right? If you have 2 of them on the board and something dies, you get 2 followers again and again, and they're all 5+ power, right? So if you play them again, and then you will die and with multiple things in hand, you get the idea. But having one on the board is just absolutely crazy, because Noxus most of the time had issues with running out of value, running out of steam, and Whispered Words was the first step in the right direction, where it helped Noxus a lot. And this is another for me, staple card for Noxus mid-range decks that have 5+ power engines. And with that said, it's 7 p.m. CET. The patch notes 3.8 are here. I haven't seen them yet. They're also 1 hour ago. They said something about the Path of Champions 2.0. I won't go into detail about this because I'm not particularly crazy about Path of Champions 2.0. I will look at it though. Maybe there will be content about that, but most of the time I'm here for the patch notes. Alright, we have the Worldwalker trailer we've seen already. And then we have a guide to origins. Learn how to utilize Runeterran champions and their unique origins with this visual guide. Thank you, Riot. This is what we would have needed, like right when Jhin was released and all the Worldwalker champion expansion thingy, in order to actually get the idea of those champions. So it basically says that you have his champions and then you have his restrictions if you want to play with him. And then you can have those deck building restrictions with, in that regard, would be a yes for units with skill, like the Maker, and a no for units without a skill, like Cyphria of Cloudfield. Then they explain his origin effect, so every 3 slow spells, fast spells, or skills, you will play a Lotus Trap automatically, and then you would deal 1 to the enemy nexus, and if you have a Jhin in play, you stun the weakest enemy. And this is a very important part that they haven't talked about before, I think, or I missed it. Explore new possibilities. Origins open up never before seen deck possibilities. Experiment with an origin and another region, or even 2 origins to create your perfect deck. So we now have confirmed that you can play 2 origins, so you can play Jhin together with Bard, and you can also play Jhin with some region or Bard with some region. This are the options that you have in order with those Worldwalker champions. And they have an infographic about spawn mechanic, the new boon mechanic. We have seen those and we have talked about these. If you haven't already seen it, there are videos up there where I talk about them. Oh, and there are even nerfs. We have the Crackshot Corsair, which happened to be a 1-1, and they're turning it down to a 1-1 yet again, because she is one of those units that have a skill actually. It puts a skill on the stack, and it will, when allies attack, deal 1 to the enemy nexus. So now she will be a 1-1 again for 1 mana, which is very healthy, and I think they should definitely do this with the Legion Saboteur as well. I've tweeted about this today, because I think that Legion Saboteur will be very toxic in the close future, because Crackshot Corsair and the Legion Saboteur are both the ones that definitely hit Nexus first, so burn, and second, they are both the cheapest skill units that you have in the game. So Annie and Jhin will almost always play Legion Saboteur or the Crackshot Corsair. And then we have Imperial Demolitionist also losing 1 HP, going down to a 2-2, which is... I don't know if this was particularly necessary. I never really ever felt oppressed by the Imperial Demolitionist because it has interactability, right? You can remove the follower that she wants to ping in order to do the 2 damage to your Nexus. But you can't do this with a Crackshot Corsair. This is what makes the Corsair toxic, and the Imperial Demolitionist not so much. So this 1 HP nerf, for me, not so important. I think it would be better to get down 1 attack from the Legion Saboteur, actually. And then we have cosmetics with the Pulsefire event pass rewards, which is 4 card backs. We get 3 followers, which is Tibbers and Pulsefire Tibbers, I guess. Okay, I will definitely get this one. I mean, only for the Tibbers it's worth it. And you get 4 emotes with those Pulsefire skins, okay. And for the skins we have Pulsefire Jhin, which has even new animations or, you know, skill symbols for it, which is very confusing to me, and even has a Alright, that's sick. That's sick. I more and more get why people buy actually skins. I still think they're too expensive, but yeah, we will talk about this with Sunny in the podcast in the future. Then we have Pulsefire Caitlyn, which also happened to have new pictures, animations and stuff. Okay, that's also pretty good. Pulsefire Aphelios, and then there is Pulsefire Thresh, which looks really bizarre. And then we have Pulsefire Lucian, and last but not least, Pulsefire Action. Okay. We got a Pulsefire board. I'm sad. I was actually hoping to get a Bard board, because I love the music from Bard. But yeah, I guess it's Pulsefire then. Then we have the Guardians, we have the Tibbers, like I said, the Pulsefire Tibbers and the Pulsefire Chip, because why not? Card backs from Thresh, I think it is. No, the Virtuoso, it's Jhin. Then it's Aphelios, I think. Then we have Action, and we have the Truthseeker, which is Lucian. And this one is pretty nice. It's the Scroll of Runeterra, earned by players who complete an adventure in the Path of Champions 1.0. Well, that's one hell of a card back if I've ever seen one. I love this one. I will definitely put this one on. What do we have here? We have the Plaque of Runeterra, earned by players who defeated Gangplank in the Path of Champions 1.0. So another card back, which is, yeah, okay looking. The Gem of Runeterra, earned by players who defeated Victor in the Path of Champions 1.0. Is a silver and a gold card back, but I really love this one. Like this bronze thingy, I think looks the best. Looks like steampunky to an extent. And then we have Jhin, Pulsefire Jhin, who is counting to 4 as an emote, which is pretty awesome. We do have Aphelios with a defect gun, a somewhat bored Akshan, a scoping Caitlyn, and Adventuring, earned by players who defeated Victor with 3 champions in the Path of Champions 1.0. So an emote exclusively for Path of Champions, guys. So there you have it, that's the patch 3.8.0 for you. I was actually worried when they announced that they will now go more into the PvE stuff, that they will completely ignore or mostly ignore the PvP side. But with all these new cards that we have here, I'm definitely hyped for this expansion. More than I ever thought I would be. Like, this is so many Noxus tools, and they make up the lack of Noxus tools that we had in the other expansions. So, yeah. Me as a Noxus player, I couldn't be happier, and I will definitely play around with Bard, with his package, with the new Tellstones that we have, and also Alawi. Jhin maybe not so much, we'll see about that, but from this package here, I gotta say there are at least 10 decks that I had in mind already. So yeah, a lot of stuff to come, and I hope you are with me on that. From tomorrow onwards, I'm not anymore on sick leave from work, so I will be back to work tomorrow onwards, which means I don't have that much time again. But every now and then I will put out a video, and if you don't want to miss that, you can subscribe up here. And on this side you can have another video that YouTube thinks you would like, maybe even another video from the expansion. So have a wonderful expansion day tomorrow, and until next time, you stay legendary. Vlad out.